Viewer discretion advised.
As best as we can. Hello, Mr. DeVasto.
Hello, sir. It's a spooky night out.
Spooky night.
It's a very spooky night.
It's a spooky episode of So What
Why
Else
are we
Is
doing
Going
the episode from this haunted house?
On? I don't know. It's frightening. And I'm looking around like
yeah, you're really like
I'm
Robert
into it.
De Niroing
Ooh.
it. Method acting.
Method acting at its
Yes.
best. Enough of that. So this is our 50th episode.
Oh my God.
Yes.
50. Look at you.
Yes, thank you. Yay.
Hercules. Hercules.
Yeah. Having a celebratory beer. And you've been a good part of these shows and started this with me, or I started this with you, I should say.
Well, we both
many moons
started
ago.
the journey long ago, but you carried on the torch.
Yep, Aaron and I have carried that
Yeah.
torch on, and then we've added to the family a little bit.
You've spread your seed
Yes, I did. Sploosh.
just all over the place.
Sploosh. Sploosh.
Skeet, 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 skeet.
So I was supposed to do a show last Friday with Aaron, but we had Super Megafest over the weekend, so
And how was that?
that was fantastic.
Yeah?
And I'm not just going to leave it at that. I'll elaborate a little
Please.
bit more. So Lisa got everyone tickets before, got Adriana's friend a meet and greet pass with the Jasons. Spend an evening with the Jasons. And they couldn't have been any fucking nicer.
And how many Jasons are there?
There's several, and I did not meet Kane Hodder, was not one of them.
Okay.
I met the guy that played Jason in Friday the 13th 6, CJ, I can't remember his
Okay.
last name, but he was the Jason in Friday, the big tall motherfuckers.
Right.
And then the guy from the second one, Warrington is his first name. Again, I don't remember his last name. Two fucking nice guys,
Oh, that's
just
cool.
chilling out. So I was talking to him at the con because I don't know if you know Adriana's friend. He happens to be a really tall individual.
Okay.
And they're like, wow, you've got the build to play one of these characters in a
Oh.
movie or something. So he was very complimentary. And then they were giving me shit. They were like, those glasses are great, but that fucking shirt, what the hell? Because I was Hunter S. Thompson. Well, I was, Raoul Duke.
Raoul Duke.
Yes, which
There
is
you
Johnny
go.
Depp's character from Fear and Loathing.
Check you out. You're doing deep dive character studies.
Well, people say Hunter S. Thompson. I'm like, well, he only played Hunter S. Thompson himself in Where the Buffalo Roam, which Bill Murray portrayed. And if I remember correctly, that was Peter Boyle that played Gonzo.
Yes, that was Peter Boyle.
yeah.
Very good. Yes.
Fucking loved that movie. Haven't seen it since
I haven't seen
it probably
that in
came out.
years.
So this Fear and Loathing, for those of you that haven't seen it, is well, if you haven't seen it, there's no reason to listen to this fucking show.
Yeah, you should see
You
it
should
if
have
you
seen
haven't.
Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas if you haven't. Anyway, I portrayed Johnny Depp's character from that, and it was fun. And I got people wanted to take pictures with me, and that's how the cons are.
I
So
always think that's so odd.
no, you're.
I don't know why. It's like I know. I just I don't think I could ever like walk up to someone and be like,
Can I take a picture with you?
Yeah,
That's what it
it's
is.
the
You go,
same
"Okay."
thing. It's like like when you go to the conventions
Yep.
and there are like famous people. Like
Uh-huh.
the last convention I went to was the Walker Stalker Con in Boston.
Was that when I ran into you there? When Aaron and I were there promoting the show?
Yeah, that's the last
Wow.
convention I've been to. Well, real convention. I go to the New England Comic Con in Wilmington, but
That
that's
is a real convention.
it's a little small. It's
small because they're still building it up.
right. It's a
But
good
that is a real
convention, but there were people like they had the kid from Billy from Gremlins.
Okay.
They had him there.
Yes.
Now he was in Gremlins. He was in a great movie called Waxworks.
Yep.
And I've seen him in a couple things, but I was like, as we're walking by the convention store, I was like, oh, this kid's from Gremlins. He was in Waxworks, yada, yada, yada. And my wife is like, oh, well, why don't you go take a picture? And there's no one in line, so he's literally looking at me.
And you're like, nah.
Like, and I'm just like, this is awkward. Like, am I supposed to? Now I feel like I have to go over and give him $40 because he's staring at me. It's like a homeless situation. And I'm like, and I was just like, all right, I gotta go. I think I pulled out my phone and pretended to talk to someone and just walked away. And my wife was like, "What is happening?" Because it just was weird. I don't know. I never know. What
I acknowledge
to say.
him and just wave. I did that to. So I went to. We were promoting the show a couple years back, which is where we met Sam Misrandino, the author of Prince of Pieces, at Rock and Shock in Worcester, probably 2 years now. And the guy that plays fucking Saw, I don't know the guy's name. Not Billy, not what my puppet. What my wife did the puppet this weekend. Billy was the little Saw puppet. But the actor that was dying of fucking cancer.
Yeah. I know who you're talking about.
So I saw him and he saw me, and I'm like, and he was kind of hanging out with. So there's us, another group of podcasters, and we're all kind of talking, exchanging information. So hey, we come on our show, do that type of shit. Next to me, we make eye contact. I'm like, oh, and I say to someone, hey, it's the guy from Saw. And he's like, and I went, what's up? And just went right back to talking. I'm like, I don't know what I want to do. I met George Romero, got to talk to George Romero. Okay. That was really all I wanted to do.
Yeah, like I guess that's my whole thing is I just never know. Like I met the guy who played Gus from Breaking Bad, who owned
Gus Fring,
yeah, exactly. And that actor, Giancarlo Esposito, I think his name is the character. Is the guy.
Oh, the actor's name?
The actor's real name.
Yeah.
And he's been in a ton of movies that I've loved, and I talked to him for like 3 seconds and got a picture. But I literally, if you ask me, listen, I'm going to shoot someone unless you run in your house and find what he autographed and the picture, I'd be like, you're going to have to kill that person.
You don't know where that fucking apron is?
It's in my house somewhere. But it's like that's not me. I'm not the guy who hangs things and keeps them. I'm just not.
I know.
It's just, well, listen, there was a time that I did that, but then the old wife destroyed everything.
Yep, so why do you want?
So why do I keep it?
Yep, I understand.
After that, I was like, there's no point.
Listen, you're only going to trick me into the van so many times before I ask to see the candy first.
There you go.
So I feel you.
Well played.
I feel you.
And speaking of vans and candy, Halloween is coming up.
Oh, that's
what a
right.
Segue.
I like that segue. And we're still in this haunted house.
This house sure is scary,
Freaky.
Reggie? Like, it's totally scary, and I don't know what to do.
That's pretty good.
Thank you very much.
Oh, you get an applause. Oh, wrong one.
Fuck you, motherfuckers.
Yeah, you cocksucker.
Oh, so Linda Blair, the kids got to meet.
Mick Foley was there.
We talked to Mick Foley for a long. Actually, Lisa did.
See, that would be someone that I would want to talk to.
And that's what they
nice
did.
Guy.
Oh, first of all, I just look like the creepy guy. I couldn't see him because I didn't have these glasses on. I had the friggin' Raoul Duke big fucking glasses on for the character. So he's blurry, and I'm like, his eye kind of looks a little bit fucked up. So I walk over. He's like, "Hey, how's it going?" And I had seen him before, and he was just being. So I'm just standing there because he's talking to the wife. So I probably to him, he's like, "This fucking loser is just sitting here listening to me have this personal conversation with this woman about Christmas." He invited us to the place he does Santa.
Yeah, Santa's
in
Village.
New York.
Oh, in New York?
He does it in New York, and he invited us.
Wow, really?
Because they were just talking about Christmas. He could have. I mean, he loves his wrestling fans, but once him and Lisa started talking about Christmas, that was pretty much it.
Well, he did a document. There was this documentary about Santas.
Oh, I did see that one. It's pretty good.
He's a huge Santa. He used to actually have drive up to New Hampshire to go to Santa's Village.
He still does.
And he even joked during the documentary. He said that the last 2 kids he had, he convinced his wife. He was like, I think I convinced my wife to have them just so we can keep going to Santa's Village. Yeah. But he became Santa. They did, and he was Santa for a day there. But the coolest thing I've ever seen is, his 2 youngest sons are like 10. They're kind of getting to that age.
But he's like, don't you anyone tell them.
What he did was they waited up for Santa, and they fell asleep. And then all of a sudden, he's like, hey,
I did see the documentary. They hired the other guy.
They hired another guy who played Santa. And it was just so awesome. Yeah. Like that, honestly, I saw he was there, and I was like, oh my God, that I was thinking about going.
Yeah.
Just to basically be like, that was the greatest thing in the world.
He is such a cool guy.
And listen, I'm a wrestling fan, so like I dig wrestling, but he's just overall just a really great guy.
He was staying at the hotel we were at too. So he was,
Oh,
he was-
cool.
I saw him in the lobby, but so weren't the two Jasons, which is where I actually hung out with them. I spoke with CJ, whose name that's horrible.
Jason 2.
Jason.
Jason Part 2.
No, that is Warrington.
Okay, so,
Warrington's
so
his
he's
name.
so Warrington is Jason 2.
Jason 2.
And
CJ is Jason 6.
okay, so just refer to them as Jason 2 and Jason 6.
Yes. So Jason 6 is giving me shit for what I'm fucking wearing and stuff. But then we're chilling out at the hotel just talking about he's traveling around doing the cons and stuff.
Okay.
He's just such a fucking nice dude. They're
wonder-
not pretentious. Well, I mean, they're traveling around to the cons and everyone's kind of a geek, but they don't have the arrogance about them. Like, we've seen some celebrities
Yeah.
at the cons that just have the arrogance. And some of their handlers make it so it's difficult like that. Like, all I wanted to do was get a selfie with Will Wheaton last time we were there. That's all I could have cared about. I don't want a signature. I don't want any of that stuff.
Right. You
That's
just want
all
a
I
picture.
wanted, and it was an option. And I get that. And that's his publicist type of thing. But he'll photobomb me. If I was taking a selfie, he would have done something in the background, but I didn't ask.
Right.
Because I just didn't want to be that guy.
Yeah.
Because I know it wasn't something he was going to offer, and I didn't want to ask him, hey, can you photobomb? He'd be like, oh, what the fuck? Meatloaf, again, they treat him like he's this exclusive thing. Doesn't behave that way at all.
Yeah.
Just a fucking nice guy. Loves fucking kids. Adores Adriana. He's like, I didn't see the movie when she was hit girl, but you better not use that type of bad language. And he's just being a fucking dad.
That's cool.
So yeah. So Linda Blair I didn't meet, but Adriana got pictures with them, and then the original Flash.
John Wesley Shipp.
Yes.
Which it's really funny because we saw the picture and I had to tell Dee, I was like, well, do you know who that is? And she's like, wait. And she's like, oh, yeah, that's the Flash's dad. I was like, he was someone before that. And she's like, what? And I was like, and you probably won't know this.
I do know.
He was Dawson's dad.
Oh, no, I
From
didn't.
Dawson's Creek.
I was going to say he was the Flash
But
from
he,
the
well, he
CBS
was,
series.
but he was Dawson's dad from Dawson's Creek, and he had the best death scene, which was he's driving home after buying groceries, eating in the middle of the night, probably like 10 o'clock at night, eating a fucking ice cream on like a cone.
Yeah.
And he's singing like on the dock of the bay
Into the cone?
and he's eating it and he licks and the whole top goes off and he's driving, so he reaches down into the passenger seat to pick up the ice cream
Yeah.
and then rises up and a truck hits the car and kills him.
Oh, wow.
Is that not the worst way to die? Like, seriously, this is another reason I thought about going to the con and go, here's the thing, John, we need to talk. I want to know what happened when you met with the people from Dawson's where they were like, buddy, this is your last episode, you're going out. It's like, do I have a heart attack? Does something happen? You're eating fucking ice cream. And
Singing
it
Dog
falls
of the
off,
Bay.
Singing Dog of the Bay.
I don't want to wait.
Right. And then you get clipped by a truck.
I don't have a car crash.
It's the worst. It's the worst.
I
One of
do,
the
isn't it?
worst deaths I've ever heard of. I had to show a YouTube clip to Deanna.
It's fine now. You don't need to hold it.
Okay.
Keep
Whoa,
going.
that sounded
You don't
bad.
need to hold. Just the tip.
I don't want to hold it.
Just rub the fingers from the base
Father
to
Burns.
the tip.
Father Burns, stop.
Yeah, so back to the Halloween.
Yes,
thing.
back to
So
the Halloween show.
hang out with those guys. The con was great. Got a lot of pictures. Spent the night.
Awesome.
Had fun.
I
and then I've
will
been-
have to do that. Maybe one
fun.
night, one of the cons, you can tell me, and me and the wife will go, and maybe we'll get a sitter or something for the kids.
I
and
promote
you can
every
like,
con on the Facebook.
and you
page.
can you can show us the way. You can be our guide for the con. Kind of be like, hey, this is what you do. This is the after party. These are the cosplay people who try to roofie people. Stay away from them.
But honestly,
I'm just kidding.
I don't know where those people are because I've been like, give me the
I don't
roofies. I'm open
I
to
would
anything.
like the roofie.
I'm down with that. Yeah, it's fun. Well, we have Rhode Island coming up, my birthday weekend, so we'll be down in Rhode Island for that. And I'm trying to. What you see here is my Bubble Boy costume.
Yes. How are you going to fit into that?
So I'm cutting out a base and I'm mounting a hula hoop at the bottom, and I realize that when I cut a hole in a beach ball, I'm going to lose the air. So where these lines are that make up the beach ball, I'm running a steel wire frame.
This just seems like a lot of work.
It is a lot of work,
Right.
Because that's as far as I've gotten, and I'm still working on other stuff. Not to mention, I'm trying to help Adriana with her steampunk wasp costume.
Oh, okay.
Which the fucking you saw the pictures. We went to
Give Wave
Wave
Studios
again,
Yes.
and we had a 2 5-hour private classes where he just worked with
wow.
her on doing that. And
Nice.
yeah, it was.
How'd it come
was
out?
pretty good. It came out good. It's not done. It's got the black around it. I'm trying to help her with the front, putting a computer fan.
Mm.
And I want it to work. So Castro gave me some stuff so the fan will actually keep her cool in there. But I'm trying to figure out how to mount that in, where to put the battery. I also ordered
Goggles.
No, we had that made. We took a piece of I don't want to say plexiglass, but this material Castro had in the studio, and just heated up with the heat gun and shaped it around a fucking lampshade to give it that curve. And I had to order, but it's clear, so I ordered that red light tape that you fix fucking taillights with.
Okay. And you gotta put that on?
Yeah, that's still coming from fucking China, or I don't know where the fuck that's coming from, but it's still not here yet. But in the interim, in case I don't get that, or it looks like shit, it could possibly look like fucking shit.
Yeah.
I got a bunch of those little tiny LED lights that have the little fucking white little battery pack with the on-off switch. Mm-hmm. I think there's like 8 lights on it, so I could just mount that in the top of the visor, and she could just click that on. It would illuminate her
Oh
face.
yeah, that would. That's cool.
So that's right now. That's just sitting on her desk, surrounded by other shit, and I don't know if I'm going to get to it this weekend, but it's fast fucking approaching, and that's suffering. I mean, we made our bright and shiny costumes for for Bubble Boy, so you can walk around bright and shiny. The cults, the Todds and the Lorraines.
Totally don't remember that movie.
You don't remember that? It's a great flick. So Bubble
I
Boy
haven't
starring
seen.
Jake Gyllenhaal.
I saw it. I think once.
Oh, we bought it. It was
I
fucking fantastic.
literally don't remember anything.
It's
about
ridiculous.
It. Is it?
Yes, I highly recommend it. I do believe it was his second leading role, Donnie Darko being his first. I'm not sure. I'd have to IDBM that shit.
Oh, maybe.
So, but so that was Super Mega Fest, and then getting ready for Halloween. I made a new prop out front, which I took some of the orange lights that we're going to PBS special. The orange lights that you could purchase at a Walgreens or a CVS. And what I did is I put them down on a board that I coated with a Flex Seal, a black Flex Seal. So if it rains on the board, it's not going to get wet and rot. And once I arranged the lights eloquently and how I thought it would look nice, I sprayed it with the foundation foam. Wow. And once I sprayed those lights with foundation foam, I put a series of fake bones and skulls throughout it, which looks like shit during the day. But if you look outside right now, you tell me what it looks like.
Yeah, it looks good.
It looks like a burning fucking body pit.
Yeah, it looks nice. It looks very cool.
Yeah, and I can't take credit for that. My wife's friend, Michelle, we went to their Halloween party last year.
Yeah.
They had that, and they did it for cardboard. She's like, yeah, just fucking throw them out next year or whatever. So she made one out of cardboard. And I'm like, that looks fucking great. And they had a fog machine, too, so it kind of looked like it was smoking, too, which cool. I got. And I'm going to set up for Saturday when there's trick-or-treating here in Haverhill.
Trick-or-treating is Saturday?
Trick-or-treating is Saturday in Haverhill. She also made a zombie pit, which she took a bunch of cinder blocks and a pallet, and then just a bunch of zombie arms and stuck them out in it, and then threw those fucking glow sticks in there. It looked fucking awesome. It was pretty good. So Lisa wants to do that next year, too, and I'm all about that. Like fucking 8 cinder blocks and a pallet. That's easy.
That's cool.
Yeah. This didn't cost me too much. I had to buy a timer because I can't rely on these 2 dingbats to put the lights on. I put all this time. I pull up at night. I want to be in awe of my work.
Very much so.
So I went out and bought a timer. I'm like, you couldn't put them on? You didn't ask me to. I was like, well, I asked you to yesterday. That kind of transcends into today.
Yeah, I haven't.
It's kind of bizarre.
I haven't. I'm gonna put up the animatronics.
They're not
Sunday.
up yet?
No, well, you got to realize because I have a couple kids staying with us who are very scared of.
Really?
So I was not able to put
the
Pennywise.
Really?
I was not able to put the Zombie Boy. I was not able to put the
phrase "grow a pair." Little shits never.
I can't. Trust me. I had to be the voice of reason. My wife was very much like, I don't
Fuck
care.
That.
We're putting that out, and I was like, we can't do that. It's not right. So we made the concession that we would not have anything out until like the Sunday before Halloween. So we'll have it out Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. I'm bummed because I wanted to buy that 7-foot animatronic clown, and
Maybe next year you can.
Oh,
do
it's happening next year. Next year, shit's real.
Nice.
And
nice.
Did you actually?
That fucking clown was creepy as fuck, dude.
Yeah,
that was pretty awesome.
Did you hear?
$275? Is that how much it was?
$199.
Oh,
did you? I know.
Get two.
Did you? Don't tempt me. Did you hear about the guy who his sister asked him to take her and her fiance's or her husband's wedding photos, and so it's all these pictures of them like in like the woods or looking at each other. And he inserted pictures of Pennywise in the background that you can just kind of see. So there's this picture where they're like sitting on a bench looking at each other, and if you look down, it's Pennywise from the sewer looking up. And I was like, that's just fantastic. That guy's a genius. Awesome. God love him.
Was she pissed or does
I don't know if she's pissed, but how could she be? It's like, no offense.
Well done.
That's just well done.
Yeah. First of all, you made me work your wedding, bitch, and you probably expected these pictures for free. I'm putting Pennywise in them.
So let me ask you something, because you're a big Halloween fan like I am.
Yes.
What do you think the best Halloween costume you've ever worn is?
The best one I've ever worn? Most offensive?
No, just, okay, so why don't we break it into categories?
Okay.
Because I know you want to talk about that.
Yes.
Why don't we do just best overall costume, and then you can do most offensive, and then you could do worst costume. And I'm talking from when you were a child.
I've already got the worst costume.
All right, from when you were a child up until now.
So we'll start with that because I don't know what my best is. I know what I had to put very little effort in, and it came out looking legit as fuck.
Yeah.
Which I really liked, and that would have been my heroin addict costume. Did you see that when I did that?
I can't remember if I saw that.
So it looked.
Is that when you were tied off on the arm and the needle hanging out?
Yep, and I had the little track marks and I had the fucking blood coming out of my nose and the black circles around my eyes. I went into a liquor store to buy booze and the guy was like, "What the fuck?" Yeah, it was easy. You take the needle off, super glue it to your arm, looks like it's hanging out of a fucking vein. That was pretty good. The abortion doctor was my most offensive. And I only say that is because people left the dance floor when I took out the bag of fetuses that I put in salsa and started dancing with it. So yeah, they didn't. It said Dr. Abort. Someone's like, they might find that offensive. Someone might. I'm like, oh, find that offensive? And I pulled the fucking bag out, and they were like, what the fuck? I'm like, I'm gonna dance with this. And so yeah, that was my most offensive. The worst.
Yes.
I wanted to be a werewolf as a kid.
Okay.
I'm sure. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure you put that photo of me as that hideous werewolf in my 40th video.
Oh God! Probably.
Basically, she put me in a winter jacket that had one of those fucking, just the fur fuzzy lining, and then put those red nails on my head, and then it was the fucking worst.
That is fantastic.
It was big time. Boo. Now, how about you?
Okay. I'll start with worst. So when I was a kid, I was a huge Hulk addict. Like I loved the Hulk, and I was
it's an epidemic in the country,
I was a large child, and I don't mean tall. And so back when we were kids, they would have those plastic costumes
with the masks.
They were literally plastic. It was a plastic costume that you
Michael
would tie
Myers
around
mask is based on
it's
the William Shatner
one. Yep. And so and the mask was just a plastic mask with an elastic. And so I put it on a couple days before Halloween to make sure it fit, and of course it didn't. And so I did something and I put a huge rip in it.
In a plastic mask?
No, in the costume, the body costume.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh shit. And so I went inside and I'm like crying, and my brother's like, what's wrong? And my brother was probably like 15, so I was probably like 8, maybe. And
you couldn't have even pulled off Shrek because he didn't exist then.
Right, Shrek didn't even fucking exist. So my brother's like, oh, I can fix this. So he has an idea of taking a lighter and burning the plastic together, which
just to seal, in theory
works.
Heat would melt plastic.
Heat would melt plastic. Unfortunately, these things are just not meant. The whole thing went up in about 3 seconds.
Yep, but back then, the only thing flame retardant was the special needs child.
Right, exactly. It was
fire.
like the fucking thing just went, I was like, holy shit. And so I ended up having to go trick-or-treating because my mom would get me another costume with just the Hulk mask and then just me in like a t-shirt and jeans. And it was like, hey, happy Halloween.
You didn't say trick-or-treat?
I just said trick-or-treat. But
We would do trick-or-treat. And then me and my friends, if the house had good candy, we'd switch masks and go back.
Well, see, what I would do is right next to me, there was, when growing up in Cambridge, there was a home for mentally challenged people who basically lived in a kind of a community, and they had people there.
Right next door to it, yes.
Right next door. So we would go there first and ring the bell, and someone would come out.
You
and
get
give us
hairpins
candy.
and someone's dentures.
No, we actually would they would give candy.
A puzzle piece.
And then we would stand there and wait about 30 seconds and ring the bell again.
Yeah.
And the same person would come out and give us the candy. And then we'd sit there and wait another 30 seconds. And this went on for about 15 minutes where we would just...
Wow.
And we would get a good base. Yeah. By then, one of the not orderly, but someone there.
Someone else would come down.
A person who, was kind of cognizant would come out and kind of be like, hey, assholes. Fat kid, stop taking all the candy. And I'd be like, fuck you. And then we would leave. But that would help get us a nice base.
Yep.
And then we would go around the neighborhood. But, back then, we could go trick-or-treat until like 10 o'clock at night.
Yep.
And, I mean, I remember trick-or-treating with like 3-decker houses. And it was just like you never went in. And I remember people like, just come to the 3rd floor. And we're all like, that's insanity. We're not doing that.
Yep.
You can come down and bring me the fucking candy.
Yep, you can sit on the stoop.
Right. And it was...
I'm not falling for that again.
Right. But I also remember getting, like, my ass kicked and someone taking our candy. Like, older teenagers basically just running by.
It was not me. I never stole anyone's candy.
I'm sure you didn't.
This thing's so fucking archaic, it crashed on me. So, I was saying we would get into egg fights, and you were about to say...
I was saying that I've never egged... Oh, sorry.
It's not your fault. It's
a house.
It's my equipment.
I've never egged a house.
We egged people, not houses so much, but we would get into egg fights. You think Hitler had it good with the Blitzkrieg? We followed that. We took over parks. We would blitzkrieg parks. You have groups of kids that hang out at parks, and it's a friendly rivalry because we all knew each other. Huh?
Those are typically called drug dealers.
Not at the time. Later on, they morphed into that. But so we would start at Stratton School, and there was Pierce School, and Buzzell, and Bishop, and all the different cliques that the kids in the town would hang out at. And we always planned to have a massive egg fight, either tripping or high or drunk or whatever. So most of us that hung out up at Stratton worked at Sims Hospital in the kitchen. So that allotted us access to munitions.
Right, because I know there were some places that wouldn't. What's happening with this? Is the sound bad?
No, this keeps dropping out.
Okay, I'm gonna hold it.
There you go.
So I know that sometimes stores wouldn't sell you eggs if you were like a kid or a teenager.
And they wouldn't sell us eggs. We would
Halloween.
Steal the fucking.
You would steal cases.
Typically 3 cases of eggs. And we had the Blitzkrieg. So if you've ever watched the History Channel, which of course you have, I'm not saying this for you, but for our listeners, how the British would kind of march through, and Hitler did the same thing with the Blitzkrieg. You had the assaults, you had the battery, you had the reserves. So you had people in the back, and you weren't carrying the cases. There was several people carrying like half a case. And you had the next group up front that had a dozen or maybe 24 dozen, depending on the number of eggs that could be held in the egg rack. Okay. So you were reserve. And then you had the front line, which was the assault team, which would run in, boom, 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 throw the fucking eggs. When they run out, they fall back. Here comes reserves. And we would just fucking march through every park like that. What are you going to do? You have a wall of people coming at you and a nonstop barrage of eggs. It was we were awesome. We were a force to be reckoned with. Nobody ever took us out. It was impossible.
I just...
Okay, how can you... We had sheer numbers and ammunition that you couldn't do anything. What, you have a dozen eggs? I don't know how many we have, but You're fucking all done, kid. You're going to be an omelet by the time we're done. We took over everything. So it was great. Those were the days.
Have you considered going back? That would be funny.
Going
if
back
you
and
got
saying, "Come on, kids."
all your friends together from when you were young and used to do that, and you just bought eggs and you went there to egg like the kids now, and like I don't even know if kids still do that. Still hang
charges
out in the
would
park.
be pressed.
Right,
against
you
us.
would be on Instagram. Someone would tweet the whole thing.
Trespassing charges.
Yes.
Back in Arlington. Oh, which reminds me.
Uh-oh.
Well, this is a good thing I heard about today. The chief of police got called down there to help put his seal of approval on Trump's opiate ban, which I think that's pretty good.
Okay,
Right?
the Arlington.
The Arlington chief of police, yeah.
I did not realize
No,
that.
they mentioned it this morning. I just want to say that's pretty cool.
That's kinda cool.
That's pretty cool. Who
Yes.
else gets to? I mean, maybe he's not your first choice in president. God knows he wasn't even my last choice in president.
No.
But it's pretty good that he sounds like he might actually be doing something to help the community.
Well, it's all about money, and it's all about
It is. How much money
funding
yep.
and how much money he wants to spend. So I appreciate the thought, because I'm in Methuen. I'm right next to Lawrence, and
then we're right near New Hampshire, where
yeah,
apparently
it's-
everything comes from there.
and it's a mess, but it's all about money and being able to
Not the
do things
Benjamins,
with
right?
it. It's all about the Benjis. So going back to that was the worst costume, best costume. God, I don't even know. I think I dressed up as Fred Flintstone one year and actually
That's
pulled that
cool.
off pretty well.
Nice.
And then I don't think I've ever worn a really offensive costume. I'm just kind of boring, I guess.
I try to offend.
Right.
I'm good at it.
You are.
Yep. I've offended people unintentionally.
That's why you're sitting here naked.
And then,
It's
you don't
just
find
offensive.
it offensive.
It's
It
just
is.
weird.
It's not the first time I've sat
Well,
here naked.
you're rubbing your nipples right now, so it's a little odd.
Feels good.
That's
You
fine.
should try it. You want to rub my nipple?
No, I'm good. Thank you, though.
You want to rub the puppy's nipple?
I'm gonna take a pass on that one
Yeah.
as well.
See, her nipples really don't stick out because she never had babies.
Yeah, because she was spaded,
Yes.
so the nipples don't stick out.
Yes, I know.
think
I guess.
when they
Because I remember feeling older dogs as a kid. I'm like, oh, you can feel their boobies. Being a kid, I'm like, oh, you can feel the doggies' boobies. Why are there 6? If I don't fucking know, because you get all them little fucking little puppies you gotta hang off the teats. So, but she doesn't. She's got like nipples like mine.
yes, you compared them.
Compare it. Actually, hers you can't even feel like brown.
Poppy, get over here. We're gonna
Poppy,
compare nipples.
Let me feel your nipples.
Oh,
Poppy.
you have nipples too.
She's all upset. She's laying down.
You don't know what pain is.
Oh, that is awesome.
Possibly just one of the most frightening guys ever on screen, I'd probably say.
One of the best
One of
characters.
Best characters, just absolutely just.
Now, is that one of your? Do you have so I love Halloween movies. Too.
Yes.
Or not necessarily just Halloween movies, but scary movies. They don't have
Yes.
to circle around Halloween, but the horror aspect kind of gives you that Halloween vibe. And I've been binge watching the fuck out of things I haven't seen. I'm like, oh, there's a series of 3 of these. Let me watch Hatchet back to back.
Yeah,
They're exactly,
I love horror movies,
it's
but
exactly
I
what
like,
I expected.
Yeah.
And I was entertained as hell. I laughed my fucking ass off.
see, like I like horror movies, but I
You want the
can't-
real horror?
Yeah, well, not just real. I mean, I like like blood and guts sometimes, but I don't know. Some movie. I'm trying to think of some good horror movies. You know what movie I recently rewatched and it actually still holds up well? It's a really good fucking movie. It was Scream.
The first Scream is pretty good.
is
yeah.
really good. Like, first of all, like I think it was the first time a horror movie was that like meta where everybody knows it's a horror movie and everybody's
How prepared
talking.
was I?
Very good. Everybody's talking about like Jason and the rules. And then if you go back and look at the movie, like if you look at the interaction between Billy Loomis, who was Skeet Ulrich, and Matthew Lillard, who were the two killers.
And what happened with Matthew Lillard's career? But we'll get
No,
back to that.
actually, I'll talk about that.
He just fell off the planet.
You know what? It's really funny. He did a podcast on theringer.com, and he talks about his career and how, like, he did Scream and he did She's All That, and then he did Scooby-Doo, and he thought
Scooby-Doo, yes.
like his
that's the
agent
last thing
was
I've
like,
ever
"You're
seen.
going to be huge," and then like he did the kind of the Scooby-Doo movies, but then it kind of fell off, and like he kind of really wasn't doing much. But then he did The Descendants, with he had a kind of a bit role in that, and he's done a lot of kind of like, if you see him in
Descendants, you talking about the Disney?
No,
Or the
did
George Clooney?
the George
okay,
Clooney
gotcha.
movie.
Because I'm like, that one on Disney, yikes,
But yeah,
no wonder his career's gone
But
nowhere.
he's got, like, honestly, he might be one of the best parts of Scream. I mean, I love that movie.
Oh, that
but-
last part. Oh,
Oh,
man. Yeah. It was,
Houston, we have a problem. You went too deep, Billy. When he's stabbing him.
Yeah.
Oh, and he's just
Let me do you now. Fuck that. Don't hurt me. Yeah.
Don't hurt me, Billy. I think I'm losing too much blood, man. Or the best line is when Billy is explaining, he's monologuing to Sydney about why he's doing this. And basically it's, your mom fucked my dad and
Ruined my life.
caused my marriage. And he basically says, and your mom was going all over town strutting her shit like she was Sharon Stone. And Matthew Miller jumps in and goes, and your mom is no Sharon Stone. And I was like, just fucking bravo. But Scream was really good. Did you see It Follows?
It Follows. Oh, no, I'm thinking It Comes at Night. I haven't seen It Follows.
It Follows is actually pretty good. Basically, it's this girl who meets up with this guy at a bar, and he takes her out in the woods and fucks her in his car. But he's acting like really sketchy. And so after they fuck, she sees somebody. Like, it's almost like this old woman, like off in the distance, who's walking, and he just starts to go, "You're gonna see her. You need to fuck. You need to have sex with someone as soon as possible. If she catches you, you'll die." And
so he's fucking spreading his curse?
It's almost like an STD. And so what it is you have to fuck someone to have it go to the next person. And sometimes it appears as an old woman. It can appear as just random. It's just someone who's really slow.
You know what? That's like not telling someone you get the herpes.
It really is.
Yeah.
It was, but it's actually a pretty good horror flick.
It Follows.
It Follows.
And it's, so that sounds interesting.
That's pretty good.
Kind of like Contracted. You saw that, right?
What was Contracted?
That girl fucks that. So that at the beginning of Contracted, this guy who works at a morgue, and he fucks his corpse. And then he goes to the party, and roofies this girl, fucks her, and apparently by fucking corpses, maybe he didn't wash his dick off, she starts to slowly turn into a zombie.
Oh.
It's really good. It's available. Contracted and Contracted 2 are both available on Netflix, or at least Amazon Prime.
Now, did you see It Comes at Night, the Joel Egerton?
No,
I
and
saw that.
I was on the fence about renting and watching that, and I was like, it kind of seems obvious to me. The family's already sick, is what it looks like to me.
You watch it and you want it to be better than it ends up being.
Yeah, it
You're
looks to
kinda,
me like, they're
disappointed.
already fucking sick, and they're just luring people in. Is this how it appears to me?
Yeah, it's not quite that, but you're very close. It's just not as good as it could be. Stranger Things 2 starts up on Friday.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
It starts up tomorrow.
So
excellent.
did you watch that first
I
season?
loved it. Yep.
It was very good. And did you see It?
The new It?
Yes.
I did not, but one of Adriana's role plays for Megafest
Yes,
was
Georgie.
But though she didn't rip her own arm off. So,
Wow.
so she did Georgie.
She
I
likes
haven't seen it.
commitment.
They did see that in the movie theater.
It was good. It was really good.
Yeah, she's not in commitment, so she didn't rip her arm off.
It was really good. The main kid from Stranger Things played Richie.
Now, which do you call the main kid? Who's the one that went to the upside down?
No,
place?
not Will. The kid who played shit. Why can't I think of his name? The kid who basically takes in 11, and
Adriana knows him. What the fuck is his name?
no, she met Will.
Oh, that was Will. That
was
met?
Will.
Oh, that was the kid that was on the other side.
That was the kid
she
who
met.
was in
Okay.
the Upside Down.
Thank you.
Oh god, I'm trying to think. I can't remember the kids, but he was in It. But it was good. I'm trying to think of some other horror movies that I've seen recently that I haven't really seen too many new ones. You watched the Hatchet series,
Yes, entertaining.
which was good.
Entertaining. I laughed. There was one jump scare for me. It had nothing to do with anything scary.
Okay.
I'll just set the premise up.
Okay.
And there's a lot of, I shouldn't say a lot. There's quite a few people you will know. So in the first movie, the main character is, do you remember the fucking Matrix kid from Grandma's Boy?
Yes.
So he's the main character in it.
It's sad that I do.
Yeah, but
but
that's
yes.
a great fucking movie.
Yeah.
It's a great
How are
fucking
you
stoner
doing?
movie. I'm a teacher, cannot see me. So he's the lead in this. So him and his friends go to Mardi Gras, and they're clearly from Boston area, or at least the director, writer of the movie is a huge fan of this area because in each movie there's a God damn, what I'm trying to say, the Newbury Comics logo.
Okay.
So that, and I don't know the actor's name, so he's got that T-shirt on in the movie. He's like, yeah, I want to go on this swamp boat fucking tour and whatever. So it's well written and it's campy, but not to the B type of horror campiness. Like the horror is campy. And the guy's named Hatchet, and his favorite thing is a gas-powered belt sander. And the gore's over the top, like heads getting squished and popped and stuff like that. Robert Englund's in it.
Okay.
Tony Todd's in it. He's in the first couple of them. And so they have there's one character that they kill in the first movie. In the second movie, he's his cousin. He's like, oh, I can't believe my cousin died. And it's pretty funny because they kind of play on that. And the third one, he's back in it and has no relation. Hey, you look just like, what are you trying to say? All Asian people look alike. So they do that type of fucking thing. So it's pretty good. It was really well done. And they're cutting people in half like the long way. I don't know if you're familiar with the TV show Superstore that's on.
Once in a while. Yeah.
Well, there's and I can't think of the actor's name, but the black kid in the wheelchair.
Yes.
So he's in it.
Okay.
He's in one of the movies. And there's in each movie because I watched all three, and in each one there's a Newbury Comics logo somewhere, and just the deaths get more outrageous. Like I had to rewind one death, and I almost don't want to tell you about it.
Oh, you have to,
because
I won't watch it.
I so wasn't. All right, this is in. I'm not sure what Hatchet movie this is in, so I'm sorry. So this is a spoiler for the Hatchet series. You know what? It was the second Hatchet movie because the kid had the Newbury Comics baseball hat. And the third one, the Newbury Comics logo was written in like a prison cell, in a jail cell. So it was the second movie. So he's got this baseball hat. And he's in the woods. So first of all, they're out looking for this Hatchet person in the woods anyway.
Because that's what you do.
Well, because they're helping this girl find her brother and dad, whatever the fuck. Actually, that's exactly what they were doing. They're trying to help her. And they think, well, there's a fucking lunatic in the woods that they're aware of. That's a good opportunity for them to fuck.
Right.
So he's fucking banging her doggy style. And Hatchet comes up behind him and just fucking decapitates him. The head rolls up and now his body's in shock. And he just starts fucking banging. This headless body is just drilling this shit.
And she's like, oh my God. Oh my God.
Yeah, it was so fucking funny. And she's like, oh my God. And then the head just rolls in front of her. And I forget how he kills her because I had to rewind it. That was so God. Just watching his body going, she's like, oh, and then it's just spurting fucking blood out its neck. I mean, it was really well done and creative the way they were killing people. So of course he was killed a long time ago, and it's an evil spirit that haunts this particular area of the swamp, and they're trying to undo it. I thought that I enjoyed the hell out of them. But yeah, really elaborate death scenes. The headless guy fucking, that was the funniest thing I've ever seen. It was great. And I've seen some fucked up stuff in pornos when they try to parody stuff like that. But this, for something non-pornographic, it was really fucking entertaining. So I highly recommend all three of those. I plan on finishing out this Halloween season with Day of the Triffids. It's an old movie from, I want to say, the late 70s.
What's it called?
Day of the Triffids.
Oh, Day of the Trifoids.
Oh, Trifoids.
Yeah.
That's how you pronounce it?
Yeah, Day of the Trifoids. Actually,
I've been pronouncing it Triffids forever.
How it starts with the character waking up in the hospital.
Yeah, and after the meteor shower.
That is actually in The Walking Dead. when Rick Grimes wakes up in the hospital, that's what it's parodied after. It's the same thing 28 days later.
Well, I
does
knew
the same
that,
thing.
yes. Yeah, but I didn't know that's what they were running.
When The
it
Walking
off.
Dead did it, everybody thought, oh, they stole it from 28 days. And they
but it was
didn't.
in the comic because it was years before.
They stole it from he did it from Day of the Trifoids.
I've been calling it Day of the Triffids forever.
No, I think it's Trifoids. I could be wrong. Maybe a listener can correct.
Yes. Is it Triffids or Trifoids? Is it potato or potato? Ketchup or catsup? Point, counterpoint. So I plan on watching that. What else did I watched a couple of the Friday the 13th.
Right. I always love the second one where he kills the guy. He smacks the guy in the head in the wheelchair.
That's
and
the
then
third
it
one.
Rolls down
That's
the hill.
in the third one. He hits him in the face with a machete.
Yes.
I'm positive. Yes.
That's fantastic.
Because I want that. I said it to you when we were playing Friday the 13th. I want that character.
The wheelchair guy.
How great is it? Fuck! I can't do the. I mean, how good? First of all,
would be good.
it's why do you have a camp counselor in a wheelchair with no wheelchair access?
Well,
that's just a fucking dick.
So Chris is talking about the Friday the 13th video game that
Yes.
we play, and
On the
honestly,
Xbox.
on the Xbox, and I have to say I do love it, just because of the inherent campiness of. Hey, you have to get to the car. By the way, the car keys are missing. The engine is pulled out, and all the gas is gone. Because that's exactly what you do when you go to the woods. The first thing you do is you get out of your car. You go,
Take
all right,
out
let
the
me
battery.
get all this gas out, and I'm going to dump it in, I don't know, a bathroom 2 miles
Drinking supply
down.
would be a better place.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? Just I'm going to fucking leave this shit everywhere. But yeah, that game is really good.
It's fun.
I would hope that someone just does that game with Michael Myers, do a Halloween version.
Well, they have a game called Dead by Dawn or Dead by Daylight or not Dead by Dawn. What the fuck am I talking about? It's a 5-person game. So someone is the fucking psychopath, and the 4 is try to start these. I won't say start the reactor, but you try to turn on these generators that have lights on them, so you have to start up 4 of those, which opens the gate, and then you take off. And they have a series of killers.
Right.
There's like a nurse that floats around, but they all kill you the same. They grab you, like they have their inherent tools. Then they grab you and they put you on this like fucking meat hook that goes through you. And the more you try to struggle, this like demon mosquito spider thing starts to close down on you the more you're fighting. All it does, when you die, you get thrown up into this abyss of fucking hell.
Oh, jeez.
So that's how you're killed with every murderous character has their own like skill set, but the way they end you is all the same.
Oh, okay.
And they've already incorporated Michael Myers into that,
Oh yeah.
which kind of takes away from he never fucking put anyone on the spike.
It's more of a
and-
Leatherface thing.
Yeah, well, and I'm waiting for that to be introduced, but but again, Leatherface didn't put him on a spike for this big.
They put him on a
fucking
meat
demon.
hook, I
thing.
remember.
Well, and that's
Yes.
what I thought it was going to be. And then when I saw this big demon thing, I'm like, really? You couldn't have different death sequences for each character?
Yeah, that's kind of. Well, that's another.
And it's
movie.
only $17 right now on Xbox.
But you know
Live.
what? Like one thing, I hate to say this, I think you need
Dead by
more.
Daylight, that's
You
it.
need more than 4 people.
Well, Friday the 13th
Because
is
Friday the
perfect.
13th
Oh,
has
boy.
8, and I think that's perfect because you need a lot of people running around like, oh shit, and
You
that's
fucker, don't leave me!
Yeah,
And I
don't-
can't-
oh my
you
God.
motherfucker! I fixed your car.
Oh,
I'm like, I'm
that-
sorry.
that was the
I'm
greatest
so
thing in the world.
sorry.
Mr. Beast talking the fact that when we were all playing and he abandoned someone, he
I did
he
no
fixed
work to the car. I didn't do anything.
Oh, yeah.
This kid did all the work to repair
Yeah.
the car.
Someone did that to me where I basically did all the work and I just needed the keys.
You
And
need
then the guy
keys,
with
he's
the
like,
keys came
"See ya, bitch."
and I was trying to get in the side and he didn't have a mic. And so he was just like, he
not
took off
happening.
and I was like, you motherfucker. Like, you motherfucker.
And you get Chad as a dick achievement when you do that.
Yeah, it's pretty, but
I haven't played any games at all, and I've been wanting to do that. I've been falling asleep.
yeah, it's tough. It's tough. We're old.
Yeah.
You
I'm
know?
going to be 46 in a couple of weeks.
I
Well,
know.
More than a couple of weeks.
Dun,
anyway.
dun, dun.
Yeah, I don't know where the time went. Why do I have fruit flies in this haunted house?
I don't,
That is no good.
they're haunted fruit flies.
And no one can see me making the stupid fucking
We
face.
think they're fruit flies, but
They're
they're
fruit
really
bats.
Fruit bats.
They're really small.
Batty, batty, batty. Do you remember Saturday the 14th?
I do.
Do you?
I do. Holy shit. It was like 83, 84.
Dude, I think that might have been actually like 81. What it was is it was like
maybe.
it was supposed to be a parody of Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
Had nothing to do with Friday the 13th. It was about these people who moved into a haunted house, and
The monsters
like,
that
there's
lived in the house.
like this
Dimension,
vampire
right?
family lived in the house.
Is that what it was?
The
vampire
lead guy
family?
of the vampire family was the father from Arresting Development, Jeffrey Tambor.
Oh, really?
Hey now,
Hank Kingsley.
Hank
yeah.
Kingsley.
Yep.
And and so the kids are it's just I don't know why, but when I was a kid, I like loved that movie.
It was a good movie. It was entertaining.
I gotta
It
watch
was
it
at the
again.
time. It may
Right.
not hold
You watch
up.
it now, and you're probably like,
What is this dog shit?
"What is this?"
Yeah, there are very few old movies that hold up. The original Blade Runner happens to be one of them. that
Did you
does.
see the new Blade
have
Runner?
not
I still
seen
have
it
not
yet.
either.
I have not.
I've heard good things. But
Doing the horror movie thing, so I don't. And I'm just staying home and watch them.
I was considering taking the boy to go see it.
Which one? Which
Jaden.
just Jaden?
Yeah.
I mean,
he wants to
he's
see
like,
it.
so take
Oh,
him.
did I tell you what happened? Okay,
don't
so we
think you
went
did.
to Halloween Scream Fest,
Oh yeah,
which
yeah,
is
yeah,
the
yeah.
local thing.
Screamfest at Kennedy Lake Park in Salem, New Hampshire.
Yes. So we went, and my son wanted to go. My son's 11 years old. Really, really wanted to go. Like, really wanted to go.
Mm-hmm.
And so we get there. And I'm like, all right, let's go through some lines. He's like, oh, I want to wait for all these other people to show up. And okay, so of course, by the time we do that, now the lines are down the fucking street.
Yeah. They
So-
move pretty quickly though.
They move
made it
okay,
pretty,
but
yeah.
like we could have like literally done 3 out of the 5 things.
Yeah, because those open early, and then you have the other ones that are outside that open
Right.
later, like the water park and the fucking haunted village. And
Yeah, so we were waiting, and then so we get in. The first one we're doing is the clown one. They have like a clown
the
haunted
circus.
house,
Yeah, we did that.
and so we go to walk in, and he's pulling like he wants to leave, and I'm like, you can't leave. We're in now.
Yep.
Now you
Yep.
got to go forward.
Yep. Gotta go for it.
And so he's literally crawling all over me like fucking Scooby Doo. And like I'm like moving him from the left side to the right side, depending on what creatures.
Similar
and-
experience
and
with
I'm-
my 14-year-old daughter.
And I'm like holding his arm, and I'm like, all right, let's go.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I can't even at that point be like scared by anything because I'm too busy trying to deal with him. So eventually we turn one of the corners, and there's this strobe light thing.
You talking about the spinning cylinder?
Not the spinning. They had a.
That fucks me up.
The spinning cylinder I'm okay with.
I'm
I
fucking.
close my
Oh
eyes.
no! I try to adapt.
Oh no! See, I close my eyes and I just go forward. There was a girl in front of me who I like crashed into, and I was just like, "Move
Yeah,
it,
'cause
honey."
She was like a fucking
Yeah,
drunk.
like,
That
let's
shit fucks you
go.
up. That fucks you up. I want one of these for here.
But the strobe light thing, we like turn the corner. There's strobe lights and everything, and this girl came out, dressed as a kind of a clown nurse.
Oh,
with
I saw
blood
her.
all
Yep,
over her
yep,
face.
yep.
And Jay turned the corner and looked, and his eyes literally went wider than I had ever seen them before. And he goes, "What the fuck?" And this is in front of his dad, and he does not swear, and he definitely doesn't swear in front of me. And it was
You
just
gave
like-
a pass on that.
I
though.
gave him a pass. And so we got out, and I was like, all right. I was like, are we doing another one? And he's like, oh, maybe a little bit. We didn't even do any more.
Oh really?
We did a couple. He wanted to do some rides, so we just did rides. But I was like I hate rides. Like, I don't like amusement parks, but I love haunted houses.
Yeah.
Like, I can go through haunted. So for me, I was just like, they had the parade of like characters.
Oh yeah.
Where it was like, you know.
Did you see the guy in the electric chair?
Yes.
Did you watch him chase people?
Yeah, he chased people.
Adriana fucking Jesse Owen me and fucking gone.
Yeah.
Because I didn't see him there. I said, "Oh, look at that."
Well, you guys
That's
went during the
cool."
day, didn't you?
Well, we went earlier, and then we stayed till maybe 9
Okay.
or so, because a lot of the rides close down, but they keep the haunted houses open. So we went there early, did a bunch of the rides. I had a couple beers, ate some food, and then did the haunted houses that we could do early, and then did the other ones. But similar experience. Adriana was on my left side, clinging to my arm, and that would have been fine if she stayed on my left side.
Right.
But she's now like my shoulder does not have a 90-degree pivot point onto my back.
Exactly.
And she's turning my arm, and I'm like, now I'm like, I don't know if my arm's off yet or what. This is fucking not pleasant for me.
Yes.
So I'm dealing with that for a while, and I'm like, Adrian, I'm trying to just pull around. I'm like, I'm not. It's like, you're not enjoying yourself. I said, I am, but you're
not enjoying
hurting
yourself.
me.
I just.
So later on, she's
You're
hanging
not
on my
enjoying
back.
yourself?
So now I'm sweaty because I got this sweaty 14-year-old girl hanging on my back. It's running down my back. I'm like, I'm just fucking dying. I'm like, you need to walk with me. Let's go through this together. Have fun with it. You don't need
No
to
one's
be
gonna hurt you.
scared. Go, hey, she started. So after we did 2, after that, and I'm like, we need to stop. Your dad needs a beer, and I need to circulate blood in my shoulder, and my back is fucking soaking wet. She's like, I'm sorry. I'm like, no, it's fine. I get it, but you want to do this, so we're doing it. Plus, we had to pass. I didn't want that going bad. What's the fucking point? So the last couple, like we did the Pirates Cove one, which is pretty fucking cool.
Was it?
Yeah.
We wanted to go in that one, but the line was by the time
It moved quick, and again, I think we were like the last people.
It was 3 rows like deep.
Oh,
like,
yeah?
It was because we went at night. We went on like a Friday night.
Move closer.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
We went on a Friday night.
Yes.
Friday the 13th.
Oh,
So,
perfect.
Of course it was packed. But we got there at like 6:30 or 7 almost, and I was like, Jay, let's get, and there weren't very many people.
Yeah, get
And
those
we
out of the
literally
way.
could have
Bang
done the
those out.
clown house, the other haunted house, and probably the Pirates Cove thing.
Mm-hmm.
But he wanted to wait, and so we ended up waiting like 40 minutes.
That's all
And
it
by
takes.
then, everybody else had.
That's all it takes. 40 minutes.
Yeah.
And then it's the same with traffic. Takes 5 minutes, and I'm stuck in fucking traffic.
I hear you.
5 minutes later sucks. So I enjoyed it, and we went early enough. So my dog seeing you, oh, you want your good kisses, give good kisses. There you go. Doesn't give me kisses. She just paws at me.
Yeah, but when you come over my house, my dog's all over you.
Yeah, and she throws herself right my belly.
Apparently, our dogs think we're swapping dogs.
Yes,
we're on
yeah,
dog
that's
swap.
what it is. Dog swap here. I think she's a lot easier to take jumping on you. This one.
Yes. My
Kevin
dog.
walks across my balls, which the cat does more damage to my genitalia than the dog does. So I'm trying to think what other fucking really good horror movies I watched. So I got Amazon Prime, which you do too, and you watch
Yes.
Amazon Prime videos. So I watched this movie on Amazon Prime because I've never fucking seen it anywhere else, and I have to tell you what it's called. Helen Keller versus Night Wolves. That's right, versus
What
Night
does
Wolves.
that
I couldn't
mean?
have fucking cued her. So
Yeah, break this shit down.
I'm going to break it down as best as I can. It starts off with the director telling you his name is St. John Street John. So it's St. John, but it's pronounced St. John Street John. And that's not his real name. So it starts off with him telling you that and kind of giving you an idea behind the movie. And he says, so grab your lube, kids, because the show's about to begin. I'm like, oh, now I'm vested.
Now you're in.
So, and it's got some people that you've seen. It's got the Jump to Conclusions guy from Office Space.
Got
so
it.
He's in it. He plays the sheriff. It has the landlord from Kingpin. She's in it. She plays older Helen Keller, who's telling her grandkids these stories. And just the way they have her communicate, because she can talk, and people can understand her when she talks, but the only way she can understand you is if your hand's over her mouth, or she's going to talk like this, or she's touching a mason jar, and then the vibration she can pick up. So the reason, so her and Ann Sullivan were already friends.
Okay.
And the Night Wolves attacked both of them.
What are the Night Wolves?
They're these stuffed dogs that just get thrown at the actors off screen. And then when you see them on the ground, you just see like these sticks with dogs' arms clawing at their eyes or clawing at their ears. So that's why she's deaf, because they clawed out her ears and her eyes, so she's deaf and dumb. And they only got Ann Sullivan's eyes. So the whole movie is them training to
kill the Night Wolves.
to kill the Night Wolves. And it's got Brian Bostwick's in it. And he's training Helen Keller how to fight. And she is a very gay brother who really has nothing to do with it. He's like, I mean, you can't hear me do this. And he just starts singing ridiculous songs. The movie's totally ridiculous. And I actually had to watch it twice because I fell asleep at one point, or I thought I did, wasn't sure
Oh my
that what I
gosh.
saw was what I saw. I didn't watch the whole thing again, but just from where I was like, I fell asleep and did this really? I'm like, oh, that really happened. So, oh, they're smoking like fucking weed and trying to train how to fight these night wolves. It's ridiculous. So, Helen Keller versus Night Wolves, not really a Halloween movie, but well, I guess the title would be. But in watching it, it's just a ridiculous parody on nonsense. And there's a love scene between Helen Keller and Barry Bostwick, as he,
Brian Bostwick.
Brian Bostwick, because he's really in love with Helen Keller. So as they're on bed and they're supposed to do the smoke machine, like literally the guy who's operating the smoke machine comes up and walks into the shot, just and they're like, what the fuck? So it's parroting itself, and then it cuts away to the director telling you how his real fog machines he was going to use for the film was stolen.
That's pretty good.
It was entertaining. So I forget the real director's name, but it's called Helen Keller versus Night Wolves, and it's fucking ridiculous. And that's the only thing I can think of for horror movies. Besides the regular, you get Hocus Pocus, which is a Halloween movie but not scary, and I fucking hate it.
Right.
And they're going to remake that, and apparently they're moving it from Salem down to the Bayou.
Oh, like a New Orleans. Okay, I guess I can see that. More of a voodoo kind of a thing.
Yeah, that's what they're going to have to do because all the witches burnt at the stake up here, so you'd have to do the voodoo route down there. I don't think the Puritans made it down there.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of other Halloween kid movies. There's the
Halloween Town.
Halloween. What was Halloween Town?
It's some Disney dog shit movie.
Okay. There was The Worst Witch, the one with Tim Curry.
I don't think
You
I
don't
saw
remember
that.
With
Is that when they turn the kid to the rat, the little mouse?
I don't remember that, but
Like the
Worst
hotel
Witch
had a
was
coven of witches coming in to check in.
No, that's Witches. The
Oh,
Witches.
okay, all right, witches. The witches.
That's was written by the guy who wrote Willy Wonka, Ron Dahl.
Oh, really?
Yep, based on a book.
Interesting.
Yeah, and no, the Tim Curry Worst Witch one. I think the original one had the chick from The Craft, the girl who was also in Waterboy.
Oh yes.
Balka or something.
I like her titties, and you said I could touch them. That one.
Yes.
It's not the devil.
It's not the devil.
They're titties, and I like them.
But she's like in it, and she plays a witch who's really bad, and Tim Curry sings a song about like Halloween. That's all I remember.
It's called The Witch.
The Worst Witch.
The Worst Witch.
I think that's it.
And it's because she's just horrible at witchcraft, or just she's a piece of shit human being?
No, she's horrible at witchcraft. She's like 10, so I don't think that her being a piece of shit human being is probably determined yet. Wait till she's like 17.
With all the genetic testing they do now, you can figure out.
You can figure out if someone's going to be a giant asshole.
Yep, she's going to be an asshole. This one's really not going to be sure of its gender, but we'll let that take its course. Parents will have to start drinking, taking prescription drugs.
Right. It'll be like a whole thing.
Well, sure. Why not?
Ooh, this house sure is spooky.
Matthew Lillard, come and save us. All right, well, thanks for coming by, man.
Not a problem, sir.
I'm glad you could come on this Thursday evening. I wish it was like the Thursday the 12th or something, but then it'll be Friday the 13th tomorrow.
Oh, yes.
Could have done that whole thing.
No, well, thank you for having me, and thank you for having me on your 50th episode.
Yes, it's the 50th anniversary.
That's
very nice.
50th anniversary. That
Of an episode.
Yeah, wait, no. 50th episode.
Yes.
It's not an anniversary.
I'm going to say anniversary. Why not? Of 50 episodes. Sure. I can make it up.
On that note.
Yeah, this is the best podcast in Haverhill.
Yeah, it's absolutely.
It was voted the #1 best podcast in Haverhill by me.
Right. Did you write that in?
I just did. All right, well, thanks for coming by, Chris. And
Thank
you can find us on Facebook. Like us there, where it's So What Else Is Going On at Facebook, and we are also at sowhatelse.podbean.com. And over on the left-hand side, we have all our friends' tchotchkes, books, and other stuff. You can click on that, which will take you to Amazon, where you can buy their stuff and other stuff as well. We also have a link to our So What Else Going On tchotchke page, which is at Cafe Press. It's over there on the left-hand side as well. So keep listening, keep subscribing, keep sending us your love Send us your hate too if you want. Send us something, but except a flaming bag of shit. I don't want that. You want it?
No, I'm good.
Okay, he doesn't want it either.
Appreciate it.
So thanks for joining us. We'll do
Thank
this
you.
again at some point, and we'll catch you guys in a couple of weeks. And happy Halloween, everybody.
Happy Halloween, everyone.
See ya.